Ring the Damn Bells. Of course, I am Kevin, and with me tonight, as always, I have my host. I think I have my host. There he is, the wrestling enthusiast, Mark. And now, fans, just to let you know what I just noticed this. We weren't trying to be twinsies. Didn't realize our shirt was going to match, but it does. What's going on, man?
Oh, hold on. I blinked out for a second. Sorry.
No, don't worry. So let's get to it. Let's get to some news. So AEW just announced their location of one of their biggest pay-per-views. Um, it is, of course, in 2025. Their Revolution pay-per-view will be held in a venue that has a rich history when it comes to professional wrestling. Um, Today, AEW has confirmed that the 2025 installment of their annual Revolution event will um, emanates from Crypto.com Arena, also what it used to be known as the Staples Center. It was known as the Staples Center from 99 to 2001, and it is in Los Angeles, California. That event is on March 9th. Now, this is the issue with that, though. The arena holds 20,000 people. And I'm not sure if this is a good move or not on Tony Khan's part because of the fact that AEW also just announced that Dynamite and their other weekly programs will start doing their events from smaller venues. Now, I thought that it was a smart move from Tony Khan to say, hey, from now on, we're going to do these smaller venues for our three weekly shows. But I am not sure that he is making the smartest decision by going to the crypto arena again to host 20,000 people, because this event's in March, right? Which isn't that far away from now. And there's a lot of things that Tony Khan needs to do in order to start putting asses back in those seats, selling those tickets. So if he doesn't think that he should be holding his weekly shows in these bigger arenas, what makes him believe that in 3 months or so that he's going to be able to fill this $20,000 arena? What are your thoughts on that, Mark? Do you think that this is a good decision?
Well, it's like this. You got to look at the size of the population in the surrounding area. You're talking California. If you can't sell out a 20,000 seat in California with the surrounding areas, within hour and a half drive, 2 hour drive, yeah, there's a problem. It's like trying to sell out Madison Square Garden. You got 8, 9 million people. You should be able to twirl your thumbs and sell out Madison Square Garden, I think.
Right, but this is the thing though. Chicago, right, is one of AW's strongest markets. They are struggling to sell tickets for their next show in Chicago right now.
Because they don't have punks, so they're boycotting it.
It's something. Also, more AEW news. Actually, Fight for Fallen. The other most noteworthy announcement was the inclusion of their annual Fight for the Fallen Dynamite special, which will happen on January 1st at the Harris Cherokee Center in Asheville, North Carolina. The 2025 installment of Fight for the Fallen is not only being moved from its regular spot in AEW's summer calendar, but it will also take the place of their annual New Year's Smash special. This show will also act as AEW's first television event under the new Warner Brothers Discovery media rights deal, which takes effect on January 1st, meaning that the event will be the first AEW show in history to be simulcast on the Max streaming service as well. AEW confirmed the tickets will go on sale for that event in Hamstern Ballroom on November 25th, while the Fight for the Fallen tickets go on sale on December 3rd. No ticket information for Revolution has been announced as of yet. Next, talking about Raw last night, changes made to pre-taped edition of Raw last night, with most of WWE's stars gearing themselves up for Survivor Series War Games on November 30th. The company has been taping episodes of Raw and SmackDown, with the November 18th episode of Raw being the latest example. However, the show being taped meant that a number of things that happened live ended up changed for the television broadcast. According to Fightful Select, a number of matches and segments were filmed out of order. For example, the show that aired in USA opened with the surprise return of Rhea Ripley as she made herself the final member of the Women's War Games match for Survivor Series, but that segment was actually filmed last. On the opposite side of that, Bronson Reed's big victory over Seth Rollins and the aftermath involving Solo Sikoa was the main event on TV, despite that match being filmed first for the live audience. WWE also added a number of commentary lines in post-production, as well as adjusting some of the audio for a number of spots on the show. Before the end of 2024, WWE are set to have 3 months where episodes of either Raw, SmackDown will be taped immediately after a live episode concludes. Those events will be the November 22nd episode of SmackDown, where the November 29th episode will be taped afterwards. The December 13th edition of SmackDown, you'll see the December 20th episode taped on the same night. And the December 16th episode of Raw will have the December 23rd episode taped immediately after. While the reason for the upcoming episodes of SmackDown being taped is unclear, the other episodes being taped are due to the company's wanting its performers to have an extended period with their family over the Christmas season, which, funnily and oddly enough, kind of goes directly into our next story, talking about Ryback. Now, Ryback takes a lot of heat for a lot of things, right? But I have to give Ryback applause for this particular thing. Ryback responds to some fans' frustration about the shows being taped. Former WWE Intercontinental Champion Ryback recently addressed fan complaints about WWE's decision to host double tapings for Raw and SmackDown during the holiday seasons. Fans expressed frustration over pre-taped episodes as spoilers tend to circulate online before the show airs. In response, Ryback defended WWE's scheduling choice, highlighting the demanding nature of a wrestler's life. He emphasized that for many reasons, WWE talent had minimal time off, with holidays and family moments being rare opportunities. Understand this, Ryback said. For years, these talents barely had time off on holidays, barely had family time, barely had true rest. But true rest. They have to rush home, do laundry, repack, dry clean suits, and head back on the road. Wrestlers are human beings with lives, families, and non-stop schedules. If tape shows gives them a breather, that's a good thing, Ryback wrote on Twitter. So instead of spoiling it for yourself online, just enjoy the show. They work harder than any other form of sports or entertainment year round. Do everyone a favor, quit the whining over nothing, and show some respect for the men and women who give you some sort of meaning to your pathetic lives. I agree with them. You know, these man, the talent, these superstars, right? They literally are just about on the road year round, and they have to give up a lot and make sacrifices uh in order to entertain us. And they are missing so much of their family that, yeah, you know, especially during the holidays. Be happy that the business seems to be moving and heading in the right direction. and understanding that allowing their talent to spend time with their family over the holidays, little things like that will, I believe, will help these shows be better because of mental health, right? Having a healthy mental health. So yeah, kudos for Ryback. Nothing.
I think it's a good thing. To be honest, other than not knowing where Raw was coming from last night, I as it was taped.
Yeah,
So, to be honest, if you really want to nitpick, I bet you 75% of people didn't realize it was taped.
right. And look, here's something that made these fans were bitching and whining about, spoilers of something that they could do. What about you just don't fucking go read spoilers?
Right.
There's times that I'm not able to watch the Raw, SmackDown, or even AEW live, and until I'm able to, I stay off of social media, right? If I see anything in my Google newsfeed about this, that, what happened during that show, I don't read it. Imagine that. Imagine actually having a fucking option. Who'd
Yeah,
have
but
known?
the thing is, I've never once seen anywhere that gave a spoiler that you didn't have to click on first. So you
Exactly.
willingly click on it first. It'll say recaps or whatever, but you got to click on it to read it.
Right.
Most paid anyhow, so I don't bother with it.
Right. Exactly. So let's get on with the recap of Monday Night Raw. Before you start, let me say this about Monday Night Raw and what I thought about Monday Night Raw. Okay. But also, let me say this. I hate fans who just shit on the product and expect everyone else to have that opinion. That's just my opinion. I'm sure there are a lot of people who thought the show was great last night. And who am I to tell them that they were wrong? For myself, right? For me, Kevin, and only Kevin. Eh, I think it lacked a few things. I really wasn't happy with the show. But hey, that's just me.
I was excited at first, and we'll get into that.
Okay.
Opens up with people coming in, whatever. I'm gonna skip that because it's boring. So it opens up with Liv and Raquel coming to the ring. Liv does her traditional Liv Raw, whatever. Liv being Liv, I guess. Then they go to a recap of Nia versus Naomi. Liv calls out the women's WWE Tag Team Champions, Jade and Bianca. Says, we're not coming alone this time. Also, Nia Jax shows up, Candice LeRae and Tiffany come out. Nia Jax really kind of killed me. She walked up to Raquel and says, I don't like you. I don't dislike you. I don't think of you. Liv, we've had our issues. I don't like you. I don't dislike you. I don't think of you. I thought it was a great statement, to be honest. Um, let's see. Oh, but you can't stop thinking of the tag team champs.
Right. And so go ahead, Mark.
Um, Pretty soon, um, the tag champs come out with Naomi, plus Io Sky, which I kind of liked and was kind of surprised, even though last week she kind of helped him out. You know, with Io Sky, you never know what she's gonna pull. Liv says it's 5-on-4. The math ain't math. All of a sudden, Rhea Ripley's music hits, and now you know I'm not a huge fan of Rhea Ripley, but you know what? Her music came on. She came out with the clear face mask. I got a little pumped. And when she ran into the ring and headbutted Liv right out of
Right.
the ring, I got an history, man. I was kind of jacked.
Yeah, so a couple of things here. Number one, that segment was by far the best part of Raw last night, in my opinion. And honestly, I would have rather see, that in the show last night. I think that should have been what set Raw off the air. Also, this is why I like Io Sky being a factor in this War Games that they're going to be having. Candice LeRae is pretty by herself, right? So Candice LeRae and Io Sky, that kind of evens the things. Although I understand that Candice LeRae and no, actually, I take that back. Bailey wasn't a part of that, and I was surprised. I'm surprised Bailey wasn't isn't going to be part of War Games because honestly, I was expecting Bailey to come out instead of Io Sky just because of Candice LeRae and her and Bailey seems to have this tension between them. But whatever, I think that these two teams going at it is going to be entertaining. And again, Io Sky and Candice LeRae, they're both smaller, so I think that they're going to add that extra something to the match, where they're going to equal each other out instead of having Candice LeRae trying to, fight a Bianca Belair or a Jay Corgan type of a thing. So yeah, I think that this is going to be a pretty good pay-per-view with this team. And like I said, I think that the opener of Raw was probably the best thing on Raw last night.
Now, see, that's what kind of tipped me off about it being pre-recorded because, all hell broke loose, and all of a sudden they panned to the announcers, and it was done and over with in a minute and a half.
Right.
And, which it really should have gone on for like 3-4 minutes.
Yeah.
Locker room security come out breaking everybody up, but you didn't see that. So that kind of tipped me off that it was pre-taped. Okay, next we go to a SmackDown recap of Bloodline feud, showing Bronson Reed showing up and just decimating everybody pretty much. Um, Next we go to Ray and Zelina coming out for their match against American Made, Ivy Nile, and Chad Gable. They did a quick recap of Dragon Lee pinning Chad. It wasn't a bad match. Ray and Zelina took the win, which I was really kind of surprised. The Creed brothers came out and they tried to assist Chad up, and Chad pretty much yelled at him and then slapped him. And then they got both jacked up and started slapping each other. And I don't know, it was roundabout motivation, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, um, look, everyone involved in this match, they can go. They're phenomenal performers, right? You can't take anything away from them. I think that one of the reasons why I kind of didn't really care about this match, it wasn't that it wasn't a good match. It's the fact that there was no reason for me to care about this match. Um, I really hope that American Made gets pushed better and they give them with something with more substance and meat to it because I think that this faction could be a pretty good faction on Raw, but they have to do something with these guys. I mean, so far there's really not been much of anything, with the exception of whenever they were fighting against the Wyatts, right? So yeah, I mean, great match, but there was no reason for me to care. So
You just gotta enjoy the match for what it is. Enjoy their abilities and talents. Sometimes that's what you gotta do.
yeah, I get that, and this is why I said that everybody's different within professional wrestling. I am a big storyline guy. I like there to be a reason why this match is taking place, not just because, or something's on the line, or just something to make me care. And there just wasn't anything to make me care.
Yeah,
So,
picky punk.
was that?
But you're just a picky punk. All right. So next we go backstage with Judgment Day giving, oh excuse me, Finn Balor giving a pep talk to Dominic Carlito for their upcoming match against the War Raiders.
Yeah, yeah. Now, let me ask you something. What did you think about Finn Balor telling Liv Morgan, "Hey, you have enough on your plate. Let me just kind of take the wheel." To me, that was basically saying, without saying, that Liv Morgan is the leader of the group. Is that how you took it?
I guess if you don't go by the hierarchy, who's got a bigger belt? I guess a world title would mean more than a tag team title. I guess I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's kind of how I took it, and it's like, really, Liv?
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. Um, I think she's more comical than wrestling ability. Not taking away anything from her wrestling ability. I just think what she says sometimes is pretty damn funny. You
Yeah.
know. So her sense of humor outweighs her wrestling ability, I guess I'll say. But yeah, I came across that way. It's like, really, Liv? Really? Okay. So next we go to a vignette of the Miz being kidnapped by the Wyatt Six, then a cremation of the demanimalization of the Wyatt Six.
Yeah. Something that I forgot to mention last week, whenever we were talking about this, was last week, whenever that beat down on the YS6 happened, by Karrion Kross and Miz and AOP, one thing that made that look even better was the accidental cut that made its hand on his eye, and you see the blood coming out. To me, that just added something. Now, don't get me wrong. I will stand by what I said last week. WWE, whoever is producing the storyline, the creative, whoever, they killed the YS6 in my opinion. With having the Miz outsmart them and the Miz and Karrion Kross and AOP giving them a beat down. I thought that was horrible. But like I said, I did like the whole, even though I think it was an accident, the blood coming out of his eye or near his eye, I think it added an element to it.
The funny thing is, I don't remember him bleeding last week.
Oh yeah.
I seriously don't. It wasn't until the recap last night. I'm like, he was open? Oh, okay.
Yeah. Oh.
Of course, I've got the memory retention of a dead chipmunk. So next, we go to a recap of Damian and Gunther last week. Then we go to Ludwig and Gunther kind of giving him a pep talk and telling him pretty much be his own man. I see a slight change in Gunther.
He's going to become a babyface, I'm telling you.
Yeah. Then Gunther fights and attacks him. Damian quickly gets the upper hand.
Good old kick to the balls.
Yep. The GM of Rock and Roll says, "What happened? Shit happens pretty much." Oh, but then he tells Gunther, "You might be the general in the ring, but I'm the king in the streets." I like that line.
Sadly, there is no, there's not even a question in my mind if Damian Priest is going to win that match. It's not going to happen.
No, I think, and I hate to say it, but I think Priest is a one-hit wonder. I don't see him. I don't see him getting it back unless they decimate the top 5 guys.
Well, we'll see because and maybe I should have included this in the news. But according to I think it may have been Fightful, but when Raw goes to Netflix, uh, Cody Rhodes and Roman Reigns is definitely going to be on Monday Night Raw, and they're saying that Damian Priest may be the one to replace Roman Reigns on SmackDown. Now, nothing against Damian Priest. I like Damian Priest. I think he's a great talent. He's great on the mic. Well, he's good on the mic, right? I think he's believable. But man, those are some big shoes to fill if you replace the Roman Reigns.
I'm not a Roman fan, so I think it's a good choice, to be honest.
It's not about being a Roman fan. It's about look at the momentum that Roman Reigns has with the fans, right? If he's a baby face, he gets that pop. At least now he does. If he's a heel, he makes them hate him. I don't know if Damian Priest can be over one way or the other. Doesn't matter if he's a babyface or heel that much, like a Roman Reigns. And you have to have that big, massive star power on each of the brands. So
Right. But if they push somebody hard enough and long enough, they'll eventually get it.
yeah, maybe we'll see. I'm not saying that he shouldn't be given a chance. I'm just saying that those are some really, really big shoes to fill.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I'm not going to argue that. All right. So next we go to Sheamus versus Braun. Actually, this was kind of a banger of a match. I liked it.
The match was good. I hated the ending.
Yep. Ludwig came out and clothesline Braun. When Braun was going to do his run around run around the ring spear.
Yeah, and look, one thing people had been saying about AEW was Tony Khan, like who's your heel, who's your baby face, right? And I feel that this is where WWE is at with Brian Breaker. One minute you have him as a heel, the next minute he's shaking Jimmy's hand or Jay's hand, I'm sorry, and he's kind of being presented as a baby face, only to turn back to heel. And now with Ludwig attacking Braun, so it's like, okay, so is Braun now going to be pushed as a baby face? Is he going to still be a heel? Are we going to have a three-way match with Ludwig, um, and the Bruiserweight, and with you know what I'm saying? It's like, what are they going to do here?
I think they're trying to cash in on his last name without using his last name. You know, and I think if you're going to do that and go by his dad's technical ability, his uncle mouth on the mic, I think Braun's trying to do both of that. And Scott had good technical ability too, but I think they're trying to cash in on that. And if you're going to do that, fine, give him his last name. Change his first name, that's fine, but give him his last name, give him his heritage.
Yeah, I get that, and I agree with that. But again, you know, you got to stop flip flopping with them being babyface heel, babyface heel. Now again, if they're going to go with a three-way match between the three, then okay, that's fine. But I don't think they're going to do that. I think they're going to make this a feud between Ludwig and
Um,
Bronson again. Braun Breaker. We'll see. I just want some some constant when it comes to him right now.
yeah, no, you're right. You're right. I mean, I don't care which way the wind blows with Braun. I'll watch him because I think he's phenomenal. All right. Do I think they overhype him a little bit? Yeah, I think they overhype him a little bit. But because of his heritage, because of his dad and his brother, I was huge Steiner fans back in the mid to late '80s. You know, Scott or not Scott, Rick
But
in the early to mid '80s and UWF and when he first entered in NWA or WCW. Scott when he was still in Jeff Jarrett's promotion with his dad. You know, Mid South I think it was.
yep,
Uh, so I've enjoyed the Steiners from the get go. So
yeah,
to me, Braun automatically gets a pass.
I agree. But look, and this is nothing against Jey Uso, right? Jey Uso deserves to have a singles title. He's been there for a long time. He's a great talent, but they should have never had Jay beat
No,
Braun to begin with. Not to mention they took the title off of Jay barely a month later. I mean, yeah. So if they're going to hype up Brian Breaker, as you just said, you think it's a little bit too much. If they're going to do this, then they need to make this man damn near unbeatable.
right. They need him to face people that are of his equal size or bigger. Your Bronson Reeds, your
Right.
um, Gunther. I hate to use Gunther, but because his title versus title in.
Right.
You need, your Roman Reigns, you know, yeah, Jay shouldn't beat him, but again, neither should Carmelo beat him in NXT.
I
That
agree.
that was just a killer. That just stopped him dead in his tracks.
Right.
So, all right. So next we go backstage with Jay, Jimmy, and Sammy talking to Seth, pretty much begging Seth to join. Seth says no, not worth it. I will drop Bronson Reed tonight, so it won't even make it to Survivor Series.
Yeah, this makes Seth Rollins looks really fucking stupid because he went on to say that he will never be in the ring with Roman Reigns as his partner, basically. Never, not under any circumstances. But damn well, as we see, what happened later on, what Reed after what Reed did, right? Damn well Seth Rollins is going to be that fifth guy.
Right.
So it's how you did was threw egg on the face of Seth Rollins, in my opinion.
Well, it gets down to Roman's the lesser of the two evil at this point. You know, it would be Seth's desire to get even with Bronson Reed versus dislike for Roman.
Right, right. Now I get it, but I just think that instead of having Seth, be so just absolutely not, no way, never, just no, not my deal. There's no reason for me to be involved with this. Well, now that would make more sense because at the time, maybe there's no reason, but after last night, after the match with Bronson Reed, well, now you just gave Seth the reason. So now it would make more sense versus Seth Rollins just saying, absolutely not, never, not going to happen.
It's funny because if memory serves me, it wasn't Roman that betrayed the Shield; it was Seth. All right, and in my opinion, out of the three of them at that time, Seth was the one that carried the biggest ego.
Yeah, but I think what they're going by is what Roman Reigns did to Seth while he was part of that bloodline, as a tribal chief type of a thing. Um, but yeah, I also agree with what you're saying. But like I said, it's not like fans isn't going to expect it. There's not going to, when Seth Rollins finally agrees to it, it's not going to be, oh my God, can you believe Seth Rollins? We knew what was coming.
Yeah. All right. So next we get ready for Dom and Carlito versus War Raiders. Before that match starts, there's a vignette with Dakota Kai, pretty much saying that she's coming back, and she's gonna make it happen. I think we've heard this speech before though.
Yeah, except this time I have a feeling that damage control is going to turn on Io Sky. And I have a feeling that they're going to bring in a new member of damage control. And part of me is wondering if that new member is not going to be so much a new member, but an old member, Bailey, going back.
Who knows? All right. So actually, surprisingly, I thought the War Raiders match was pretty good. And you know what? I gotta give credit to Ibar, the bigger of the two. That guy can move. That guy can move. He should be doing some of the stuff he does.
Yeah, they can go. I mean, I don't particularly like the name, but at the same time, you know what? This isn't really a gimmick because these two guys are really, really big into that era of time. I mean, whenever I can't remember which one married who got married with what is Nikki Cross, I think, who is what is it Nikki Cross or is it Nikki Cross?
I think
Yeah, I
so.
mean, yeah, they had a Viking type wedding. So this is what they really enjoy doing. I particularly don't like it, but whatever. What I think is a kind of a shame though about it is I think that if they had more of a serious name, that these guys could be booked and the fans would really dig these two. But I think the name and their gimmick, although, like I said, they're really into that type of stuff, it still kills it for them, in my opinion.
I like the gimmick. I don't like the name.
Yeah.
I mean, they're no worse off than Demolition. I don't, as far as far, you know. Um, then we have a vignette of Wyatt Six Bo Dallas, which to me was just kind of incoherent. I don't know what
Yep.
you take out of it.
You know, I was excited for this whole thing to come together, right? But I've kind of lost interest. Um, I mean, they are mid carders at best, and I don't know. It's just there's not that connection with me, and there's some fans that pop for them, but I also read a lot of fans that are saying that they're same thing. There's that disconnect with them. But like I said, by carrying Cross and AOP and Miz, you know, kicking the shit out of them, I think that they're done. And it's sad because Karrion Cross should be considered this legitimate guy who can beat the shit out of a group like the YS6 with the AOP. But it goes right back to what I always say now. It's the way they're booked. Karrion Cross and AOP is the way they're booked. Karrion Cross has the man. Yeah, I think he's won maybe one match since the beginning of the summer. I mean, it's terrible. I don't know why. This guy, he has the look, right? Don't know. But the Wyatt Six, I don't foresee them going much further than what they're at now.
You know, I see shades of Bray with Bo. I do, but it's not enough. You know, and while I see shades of it, he kind of, if Bray would have gone this way, Bo goes this way. You
Right.
know, and and I like it, but they need to stick to the Fireflies and that sort of thing to get that crowd involvement, and they aren't doing that.
Well, I tell you, and yes, I see what you're saying, that you see shades of Wyatt within Bo. But you know what I also see within Bo? The whole Bo Dallas gimmick where he is the tag team
Curtis Axel.
with Kurt Act, and just how much of a joke they were, right? I still see that. And but I think you just touched on what the problem is. People are, for whatever reason, they are they're looking for that Bray Wyatt, right? Bo Dallas will never be Bray Wyatt. He can only be Bo. And I think that any type of a gimmick that he's going to do, if it's closely related to Bray at all whatsoever, I think that's going to eventually fail because he will never meet the fans' expectation of what they want because of Bray. And it's no fault of Bo. I think he's being unfairly tested, right? He can't meet those expectations. He's not Bray.
Right, right. You know, it gets down to he's a B and his brother was an A as far as creativity. You know, now could Bo elevate himself to that A? Yeah, he could. But you know what? To fall in your brother's shoes like that, that's a hard path to walk.
I
You know,
agree.
and unless Bo comes up with something extraordinary, I don't see him surpassing Bray anytime soon.
Nope.
You know, I'm happy for Bo to have a job. I'm happy that he can carry on his brother's legacy. You know, but if you want to carry on the legacy, go back to the things that work for your brother.
I
You know,
agree. Well, unfortunately, though, look, and to me, this is the bottom line. Bo will always be known as the brother of Bray. He's going to, it's both a curse and a blessing. He's blessed to have had a brother like Bray, right? But it's a curse that Bray's shadow is going to forever be on Bo's career.
All right. So next we go to a vignette with Lyra Valkyrie or Valkyra, and she's coming for everybody. Now I like this girl. I do, and I think she was on a good course, and then she lost to Nia Jax, and she just bottomed out after that, which is a shame because I like her.
Yeah, I mean the I mean it was the promo. I mean it was good. We'll see what happens when she comes back.
Right.
I mean, there's nothing more to say about her.
All right. So next we go backstage with Alpha Academy with Kofi Kingston. And they kind of touch on that Kofi and Woods are having issues. Woods walks in. Um, they start arguing, and then they challenge. Well, Woods challenges Alpha Academy and pretty much insults him greatly to a match next week, which you know is going to be the end of the line for these two because it's the 10-year anniversary of these guys. Um, I'd look for maybe a surprise appearance by Biggie too if it's a 10-year
Yeah, when is this their 10-year anniversary?
next week.
Is it next week? Finally. I think that's when they finally going to pull the trigger. But this is the problem, right?
We already know it.
Right. But this is the problem with after this first initial feud that obviously he's going to have with Kofi, right? After this, Woods is going to go on to be an enhanced talent, and so will Kofi. And it's a shame in my opinion because I think Kofi is an incredible talent, and I think Woods is a incredible talent. I think that if you actually put Woods with Karrion Cross and AOP and you book them seriously, I think that they could be that faction that could, really climb that ladder per se and be one of the, maybe not a main eventer, but close to being that upper middle quarter, right? But regardless of where Woods goes, he's going to be an enhanced talent.
I'm going to go out on a big limb here. I think Woods has the talent to be a Randy Savage. I
You're
really do. And yeah, I'm going on a big limb, but I really think he's got the ability to be on the level of Savage. Now he'll never attain it because he ain't got the time frame to attain it.
Mark. Didn't you and I talk about you drinking before the show?
You know what? I think Woods is got all the talent. He just ain't got the time left in his career to do it.
Look, this is the thing. I would love for you to be right because I think Woods, again, is a great talent. I think that he can portray a guy that you don't want to mess with, as well as he could be that that commit that comedy role, right? I think that is just how much of a talent he is. But unfortunately, I don't think that um
WWE views him.
the powers that be views him that way.
Right, right. All right. So next we go to Bronson Reed versus Seth. New bloodline comes out. Old bloodline comes out. They have a super kick party on Jacob Fatu's face, which I loved. I just did. They must have hit him like 3, 4 times. Um, Seth gets distracted by Solo. Bronson Reed takes advantage for the pin on Seth. Now, as much as I don't care for Solo and the distraction, it is what it is. I'm happy to see Bronson get the pin. To be honest, um, because I think he was down what 2-1 or 2-0, and now he's got one up. So
Maybe.
I
Um,
think Bronson Reed for the size he is too, and what he can do in the ring, the guy should be unstoppable or damn
I
near.
agree, and that's what I was going to bring up is after War Games, where do you foresee them? What do you foresee them doing with Bronson Reed? Are they going to continuously push him Or is he going to go right back to where he was a few months ago and getting pinned all the time?
I think if they're smart, they'd continue on the path, but I don't foresee him unless he stays with the bloodline. I don't foresee it. I mean, he's an IC champ somewhere along the way. You know, it's just a question of this year or 2 years from now.
Well, I tell you, if the new bloodline doesn't break up after War Games and they stay together, I hope that they keep Bronson Reed with a new bloodline. And on top of that, I hope they put the tag team titles on Bronson Reed and Fatu. They're the tag team champs because they could be that dominant tag team that nobody right now could stop.
Nobody but the War Raiders, but they're on opposite ends of the fence posts.
I don't think WWE would ever book the War Raiders to beat Fatu and
Bronson Reed.
And Bronson Reed. Not so much because of Bronson Reed, but because of Fatu. I
Yeah.
think Fatu is going to be, but then again, I was about to say, I think Fatu is going to be the guy that's be a long time before his shoulders are on the mat and he gets that 3 count. But man, you never know. You never
No.
know what's going to happen. They always do opposite of what I think they're going to do.
Yeah, that's why we don't. That's why we're not on their payroll.
Yeah, well, the show would be that much better if we were. So, but yeah, I think that was pretty much it for Raw. Um, Now I'm hoping next week Raw and SmackDown are going to be two must watch um shows just because that's going to be their go home before their pay-per-view. Um, but we'll see. I yeah, I don't know. And who do you think is going to win the War Games between the two bloodlines?
I think the original bloodline's going to take it. I think that's where the money is in the short term. In the long term, the new bloodline should win.
Yeah, I'm just curious if they are going to keep both bloodlines or bust one of them up. Now, originally I said that I thought that at least one of the group, one of them, they're going to bust up, but I don't anymore because I think that if Roman Reigns is truly going to Raw because of Netflix, then they're going to bring Jimmy Uso as well. And you're going to see the new bloodline, I mean, the OG bloodline on Raw, and there's going to be the new bloodline on SmackDown. Um, that's my prediction. But again, who knows? Who knows what's going to happen? So, but something I've been reading recently, fans complaining about Cody Rhodes, saying that it's been almost 60 days since he's defended his title.
Yeah, that whole 30-day thing is subjective now. Same as your guaranteed rematch. That's subjective now.
Well, they treat that kind of like they do with the whole pile driver that's been
Bad.
banned for a long time now. It's they believe that they could just bring whatever up and the fans are just going to go with it and not think about it. But whatever. But yeah, that was Raw,
Yeah.
and I'm looking forward to tomorrow night's Dynamite with it being their go home show. Um, I'm hoping that it's more eventful than it has been. Because look, I'm looking forward to Saturday night and the pay per view because, like you and I always say, their weekly shows might leave something desired, but man, their pay per views are always just on fire. So
As
I
as far as in ring ability, as far as continuous storyline,
Right.
yeah,
Right.
kind of stagnatic.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Action is second to none.
Right. Right. So yeah, so I'm hoping tomorrow night Dynamite is going to excite us about this pay-per-view. But the oh, what I was going to say about Dynamite, I don't remember. But yeah, well, that's the show, guys, and again, subscribe to our YouTube channel, please, and we'll catch you on Thursday for the recap of Dynamite. And then, of course, Saturday for the recap after SmackDown. Shit, we have a lot going on. Then Sunday for the recap of the AEW pay-per-view. So, but yeah, that's about it for the show. You have anything to add?
Just ring the damn bell, brother.
Ring the damn bell, guys. You guys have a great Wednesday, and we'll see you guys on Thursday.